Retiring a millionaire has become relatively easy. I mean, almost laughably easy, so long as you follow certain key steps. It's almost impossible for you to not retire a millionaire. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can take these simple 3 steps and retire a millionaire almost by default. Right now, you're watching Casino as a Name, and I hope you find value in this content. But let's get into these 3 different things that you can do that almost anyone could do in order to retire a millionaire. So what is a millionaire? First of all, a millionaire is somebody who has $1 million in assets. It doesn't have to be $1 million in cash. It doesn't have to be $1 million in real estate. It could be a combination of all of your different assets. So now that we have established and we know what a millionaire is, let's talk about the 3 easy things that anybody can do in order to retire a millionaire. First, invest in yourself. Do this early. Invest in yourself, your education. Invest in whether or not it's going to school, like college, whether or not it's picking up a trade, whether or not it's learning how to run a business or how to create a business. You need to invest in yourself, okay? First, invest in yourself. You are your greatest earning potential. You are your greatest asset. What you can generate with your own 2 hands, with your own energy and time, is your greatest asset. Your intellectual property, that is coming from you. You are your greatest asset. You need to understand this in order to respect it. So many people do not respect their innate ability or their ability for themselves to earn money. And what they'll do is they'll take their greatest asset and they will gamble it away on risky opportunities. So you are actually your greatest asset. Don't let anybody tell you anything different, right? What you are able to go out and generate and make $100,000 a year from your effort and your energy or your business that you may be able to create, that is coming from you. What we'll do is, well, I'll say I don't typically do this. I used to do it though, because that's what I thought we were supposed to do. I would take my money and go invest in somebody else's dream instead of investing back into myself. For example, let's say you have a job, right? And you want a higher paying job. Let's say you can identify what the higher paying jobs are. Maybe they're becoming a medical doctor, maybe it's becoming a lawyer, an accountant, whatever it is. You can identify and say, this is the higher paying job and I need to make more money, right? But instead of saying, I'm going to go to medical school or I'm going to go to law school or I'm going to go become an accountant or I'm going to go learn how to work on, become a mechanic or work on planes or something like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my money to my cousin or my friend who said that he has an idea for something that he wants to do and he can shoot me a couple dollars on the side. Or I can take my money and I can buy a few stocks instead of taking that money and investing back into myself to increase my money. Maybe I'm making $25,000 a year and there's opportunity after a little bit of investment in self to be making $140,000 from $25,000. That is that's $115,000 right there that I'm not even going to pay attention to in the long, and that's per year of a difference that I'm not going to pay attention to because I'm not going to want to invest enough into myself in order to put myself in that position. You get what I'm saying? So these are the reasons why I'm saying we need to invest in ourselves first. We increase our earning potential, whether or not you have a business. Maybe you work and you got that you're making $25,000 a year, but you could have a business that could be generating another $60,000 or something like that if you started it and worked it. Even if it just gave you another $20,000, we will then take our $25,000 salary and we will go do scratch off tickets or something like that. Something that is way higher risk. Not saying that you couldn't win something, but it's not a really good chance of you succeeding like investing in yourself. Now, once we have invested in ourselves and we have gone pretty far, we say, you know what, I'm pretty confident that in a couple years, I'll be at six figures. And I'm gonna give you some examples because first, invest in yourself. Second, now we need to go into a field where we can make some money, right? Like now that we've invested in ourselves, we're making money. Second thing that we need to do is we need to, and hopefully we can even do this while we're still trying to get to the point where like we're still building, we're still growing, we're still investing in ourselves. And hopefully we can do this second step at the same time or right after we land that position or we create that business that starts to work. You know, like maybe instead of going to school to get to get a degree or a job, you go to school or you go through some kind of mentor program or you go to the library and you just learn how to do a business all on your own, but you invest that time in learning how to start a business. But either way, whether or not you got a job, whether or not you have a business, you've invested your time and energy and effort into self. Now you're making money and you're projected to do six figures, okay? And hopefully now we're ready for the second part of our process to retiring a millionaire by buying or owning where we live. Now, if you're staying somewhere rent-free, great. Don't worry about it. You can skip this step and go to the third. But if you are somebody who is renting or you're staying with your people, but you can't stay there forever, then this next step is going to be a great benefit to helping you retire a millionaire. So now what are we going to do? We're going to go buy a house. We're going to go buy a house. I know a lot of the gurus say, don't buy a house, don't buy a house. I don't know what they're talking about. You go buy a house because mainly what we're doing is we're hedging. This entire process, we're hedging against the future. In case you don't know what hedging is, that's basically like taking a position in something in order to protect your money against inflation in the future. So if you buy gold, right, and gold holds value against the dollar, so as the dollar gets weaker, the gold goes up in value, and so that's the kind of thing we're doing. But we're doing this everywhere. So we're investing in ourselves because we want to have a higher level of education, a higher skill set and training, because in case something changes or whatever, we at least have put ourselves in a better position for the future by having better education, better skill set in running a business, whatever that is. So, but yes, second, we buy a house. And I'm gonna explain why. But first, I just want you guys to know that whatever these gurus are saying, don't buy a house, don't buy a house, don't buy a house, there's very, very few times where it would actually make sense for you to not buy a house. Now, if you're somebody who got $100 million and you want to live in mansions and things like that, then yeah, maybe renting the mansion for a year or 6 months or whatever, and the ability to move around is better than taking $20 million and having to put down on a house because you want to live in a super crazy expensive house that's requiring millions of dollars down payment and stuff like that. Maybe you do want to rent. But for the average person, unless they live in some expensive city, they may not, more than likely, they do not need to be renting, okay? So, all right, so now we have established we're going to buy a place. Now, why am I saying buy a place? First, let's go back to step one. We have invested in ourselves, right? Now we are in a position, we've done the research, we know what the business that we're either gonna start or we know the career that we're gonna go down that's gonna pay six figures. So now, boom, we get in a career field that's paying six figures. And you can interchange this for you business owners, whether or not it's your business, but we get in a position where we're going to make six figures. Now, let's say we're a plumber. There's some plumbers who make six figures. There's some truck drivers, owner operators that make six figures. Whatever it is, not really going to go too deep into what you could be doing, but let's just say you're going to go become a lawyer and you're going to make six figures, right? Now you're in a career field that's going to pay you $100,000. Let's be even more simple. Let's be an accountant, because I'm an accountant. In case you don't know, I'm an accountant. All right. So you're going to become an accountant. You're going to make six figures because you know what you're doing. You've done the research. You've invested in yourself. You know what agencies to go after for employment. You know what hands to shake. You get in this position. You're just now making six figures. Now that we're making six figures, we're going to go buy a $400,000 house. Okay? You make $100,000, you can afford based off your debt to income ratio and stuff, but all intents and purposes, you don't have a lot of debt, maybe a little student loan, maybe a little credit card debt, you can still go buy a $400,000 house. Now, you're buying this $400,000 house, right? Now, if you look up, I was on Smart Asset, right? And so I was looking up an inflation calculator. So inflation calculator says that that 400,000 today in 2024 is equivalent in 2054 to $839,000. Now, why am I looking at 2054 and it's currently 2024, right? Because 30 years. A mortgage is going to be 30 years. Unless you pay it off sooner, which you can do, right? I hope you do. But mortgage is going to be 30 years. So in 30 years, if you don't do anything different from just pay the regular mortgage, you're going to pay this mortgage off in 30 years. It's going to be paid off, right? Now, once the house is paid off, it has been, of course, going down in cost because you're paying it every month, but it's also going up based off of inflation. So when you get done paying this house off in 30 years, the house now is worth $839,000. So you paid $400,000 for it. It's now worth $839,000. Yes, it took 30 years, but you also don't have a mortgage. And if you were renting for 30 years, you'd still be renting in year 31. You'd still be renting because rent, you're not stopping rent. Rent, you don't own that. But you no longer have to pay a mortgage. Now you'd have to pay property taxes or whatever, but you won't have a mortgage. Yes, you got to keep up the maintenance and things like that. But trust me, it'll be more than worth it. Whatever investment you have to put into your own property, because it's you're still investing in self. Now, even before we even go into the third step that you need to do to guarantee that you're going to be a millionaire in retirement, the second step already has you at the $800,000 mark. Already has you at the $800,000 mark. You've been making six figures for over 30 years. So, every 10 years at 100, let's say you make $100,000 for 10 years. $100,000 times 10 years is $1 million, okay? So for 30 years, you've made $3 million anyway. Your house is paid off. In 30 years, it's worth $839,000. Let's say it doesn't inflate so well. Let's say it's only worth $700,000. We lost $139,000 in inflation that has been pretty much consistent since America started, right? But let's just say, worst case scenario, we lose $139,000 in inflation. So now we're at $700,000, down from $839,000 according to inflation. So we're down to $700,000. Okay. Now you've made $3 million up to this point. $700,000 is technically saved of that $3 million because, first of all, you needed a place to stay, but you paid the house off and it's worth more than what you paid, right? And so now you're worth $700,000 and you have a $700,000 net worth just in your home alone. Just that. That's it. You ain't had to do nothing else but live there, and it's much bigger than if you was in an apartment, and it's much nicer and all of that. But you just lived there for 30 years, or you just owned it for 30 years. Maybe you didn't live it, maybe you rented it out, but you owned it. Now it's worth $700,000. The third step is you must either one, invest in your business. I'm going to say this for the business owners. You're a business owner, invest in your business. Go bigger in your business. Buy other businesses. You need to expand your business. If your business is doing well and you're making profits, and you got $70,000 in profits, invest in growing your business and keep growing it till it gets to another level. So that's how you can easily, as a business owner, expand your business over those 30 years. If you've been investing in your business over and over, and you're buying equipment, you're buying other businesses or whatever, you just need to grow your business to the $300,000 mark, right? As long as you grow your business to the $300,000 mark, plus your home at $700,000, you are easily a millionaire. Now, you can also do a investment account, like a Fidelity account. Matter of fact, of course a business owner wants to grow their business. Let's just take that off the table. Let's just say everybody, business owners and employees alike, are just going to open up a Fidelity account or a 401k, right? So for the business owners, get your Fidelity account, put $20,000 in there per year out of your profits. And if you do that, and we're going to say even for the person who has a 401k, you're making six figures, put $20,000 of your salary away into your account. Now, let's say they're going to match you at 5%. You make 100,000, that's 105. So 5,000 on top of the 100. So they're going to basically 5% of 100,000 is $5,000, right? So they're going to match you. Say your employer say they're going to match you at 5%. So you put up 5%, they put up 5%, you're being matched. So you're automatically getting a free $5,000. But you're gonna put $15,000. They're not gonna go up to the 15%. Like, they're not gonna match you at $15,000, but they'll give you $5,000 if you only make $100,000. They'll give you the $5,000. You put in another $15,000. You put up $20,000 out of your salary, and we're not even gonna count any of the any of the compound interest, the 12% per year. We're not going to even talk about that. But if you put up $20,000, wrong pen. If you put up $20,000 per year, $20,000 per year times 30 years, I'm pretty sure it's like 600,000. So $20,000 per year, which will be $5,000 from your employer and $15,000 from you. You put up $20,000 per year into your 401k, and let's say you get zero compound interest. You get zero compound interest, which you are going to get a lot of compound interest. But let's say you get zero compound interest for 30 years, and you end up with $600,000. Your house is worth $700,000, and we even took $139,000 out for loss on inflation. Let's say inflation says it should be $839,000. Let's take $139,000 out. We still at $700,000 plus $600,000, not including any interest, which there will be interest hopefully from day one. Hopefully you're averaging about 12% per year. Compounded. You're going to have I'm sure you're going to have over $1 million in there. Anyway, you're going to have, you know what? I should pull out the inflation, the compound interest calculator. Let's look at that. Let's look at that real quick. You put $600,000 in there, but I just wanted to show you how you could easily become a millionaire. And we're not even including the compound interest. And $700,000 plus $600,000 is $1.3 million. And you're living at the 30-year mark. You have no mortgage. You have $1.3 million valuation. Just like worst case scenario, more than likely you're a multimillionaire. More than likely, if you do these three simple things: invest in yourself, invest in a home, and invest in a mutual fund, 401k, something. And that's including if you're a business owner. If you're a business owner, put $20,000 per year in that account. You're going to have that same $600,000, and that is still not including any compound interest. You will be getting compound interest from day one, and that money will more than likely be in the millions. But I'm still going to look it up. Even though this video was not really for me to be doing that, I still want to see if we put up, if we say, okay, compound interest, let's see, interest calculator, all right? Let's see, is this, yeah, maybe we can try this one. All right, initial balance. Let's say we put up, so let's look at that. Hold on. So we're gonna say $20,000 monthly divided by 12 months. So we're gonna say $1,666 per month. Okay, $1,666 per month. Guess this is short. There we go. I had to turn it sideways. Expected annual return. Let's say we got a 12% annual return. That's what we're shooting for. For how many years? Let's say 30 years. Okay. So if we did that, this calculator says the contribution amount was $599,000, shy of $600,000, less than $600,000. And it says that the total growth is $5,222,850.25. And the final balance is, including the $599,000, the less than $600,000 principal that we put in. Interest was $5,222,850. Them combined to $5,822,610. Yeah, you see that? So not only did you easily retire a millionaire, you ended up retiring with $5 million over what you needed, to become a millionaire. So you're somewhere around $6-7 million easily if you do these 3 simple things. It's not that difficult, but you got to get your check up. You got to get your earning potential up, and of course, reduce your the things like the debts and the liabilities. You want to reduce those, but we're looking at $5 million in a 30-year time frame. You can easily retire a millionaire. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino is the Name. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we out. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. It's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the Name.